Hi everyone, this is Renan, and in this video I'm going to teach you about conditionals in Python. So by the end of this video you'll know how to use the if, the elif, and the else statements, and I'll also teach you about conditional operators. Alright, so up until this point we have been building very simple applications where the flow of the program would go from top to bottom and it would run sequentially without any interruptions and without making any decisions. But chances are that if you are working in a real-world program, you need to use conditionals. And for the sake of this video, let's create a program for an amusement park. So let's suppose that the manager from that amusement park got in touch with us and they need a system to let them know if their customers are allowed to enter into an attraction or not. And the first condition that we'll use for that is their height. So let's create a variable for that in here, and height equal to, and for now let's store 150 centimeters. And the first condition that we want is to know if the customer is taller than 120 centimeters. All right, so if they are smaller than that, they won't be able to get into, let's say, the roller coaster. So to check for that, let's create an if statement. So if, and in here we need to place a condition, and the condition that we want is if their height is greater than or equal to, and this here is a comparison operator. I will leave here in the right some other comparison operators as a reference, and in here we need to place 120, right? And at the end we need a colon. So for the if statements to work, you need one expression which will be evaluated to true or false. All right, and if it's true, the code inside the if statement will run, and if it's false, the code inside the if statement will not run. And in our case, we need to press enter here right now. And as you can see, an indentation was created for me automatically here. And in Python, indentation are quite important, so they are used to create blocks of code. And everything that is indented below this if statement will belong to this if statement, all right? And if it's not indented, it will not belong to this if statement. And with this in mind, if this condition here is true, the code indented here will run. And what we want to run here is print you are allowed to enter. Alright, so let's save this and let's run to see if this code is working. And as you can see, it's working because the height that we have stored is 150 centimeters. And in here we are checking if the height is greater than or equal to 120. Right, so to check for that, we can place in here a height which is smaller, and then we can run again. And as you can see, nothing happened. And why is that? Well, nothing's happening because this code here will only run if the height is above 120, but if it's below, we have no code here below. So we need an else statement. Let's create an else here, and let's put a colon here, and in here we can put another print statement. You are not allowed to enter. Alright everyone, so this code here will enter if our condition is true, otherwise, so or else this line of code here will run. So I will save my code and let's run again. And as you can see right now, it is being printed, you are not allowed to enter. So this is what we wanted. And now let's suppose that we have another condition for our program. So the person that enter into the attraction will need to pay a fee. However, if the age of the person is below 10 years old, they will be able to enter for free, and if their age is above that, they will need to pay a fee. So let's create a new variable here called age, and let's store here 18 for now. And in our program, we also need to check for that. All right, so we have this first condition here, and if the person meets this condition, they will be able to enter, they will be eligible to enter. And inside this if statement, we can place another if statement to check for other conditions that we want. So let's create here if the age is below or equal to 10, we want to do something, else we want to do other thing. So let's indent in this here, and in here let's put another print statement. You are allowed to enter for free by paying a fee of 10. Right, I will not specify the currency, but let's save this. And right now what we have here is a nested if statement, which is an if statement being run inside another if statement, and we can do that indefinitely actually. So if I wanted, I could also place another if statement here inside this else statement, so this is also possible to do. All right, so bear that in mind. And right now let's save our code and let's run it. And as you can see, right now I'm not being allowed to run. That's because my height is very short. So let's say that I have 180 centimeters. Let's save this and let's run again. And now I am being allowed to enter by paying a fee of 10. Alright, so this is what we wanted, and now you know how to use an if statement and how to use an if statement nested. So right now, let's suppose that we have another condition. So let's say that we have a smaller fee for people who are below the age of 18. So in this second if statement here, we want to add another condition to check for that. And for this, we can use another statement in Python called else if. And in Python, it is abbreviated actually to Elif. So the Elif statement is actually an abbreviation for else if, but we remove those characters here, and then we can place another condition here, and the condition that we put in here will be evaluated after this first condition here was checked and it was not met. All right, so for example, I can put the condition here is below or equal to 18, and then here below we can put I will use this here, and you can enter if you pay a fee, and it's a smaller fee of 5. Let's save this here. So now what will happen in our program is that this first condition here will be checked, and then if this condition is not met, the second condition here will be checked, and if this condition here is also not checked, it's also not met, this condition here will run automatically. So the else statement actually do not have condition, right? So this is a fallback. So if any condition here above is met, this code here in the else statement will always run. All right, so we need to have this in mind. And since I am at the age of 18 in this example, so I will be falling into this condition here. So let's run to see if that's correct. And as you can see, that's correct. Alright everyone, so another thing that I wanted to make sure that you know is that we can use these statements here of the if, the elif, and else statements, but we can only use them in conjunction with the if statement. Alright, so without the if statement, you cannot use an elif or an else statement. So maybe that can be obvious, but I felt the obligation of explaining that as well. And as you can see here in the structure that we built as well, all the statements that comes after the if should be indented at the same height of the if. All right, so as you can see, we have here an else and it's not indented. If it was indented, as you can see, it would be an error, right? This one is not giving an error because this else belongs to this if here. So everyone, now I want to talk a little bit about the logical operators. So let's suppose that in our program we need another condition. So on top of the height, let's say that we also need to use the weight of the person. So let's store here like 100 kilos. And for a person to be able to enter our amusement park and enter into our attractions, they need to have a weight of 150 kilos or less. All right. So our amusement park is quite small. Our attractions are not built for a lot of weight, and we need this condition, right? So to do that in Python, in here we need to place another condition, and what we can use in here is a logical operator called and in here we can put another condition. So weight is below or equal, oops, it's below or equal 150 kilos. And now this block of code here will only run if both these conditions are true. All right, if any of those are evaluated to false, this block of code will not run, and then this block of code here, which is the else, will run. Right? And since I am meeting both conditions, as you can see, nothing changed. But if I put in a lot of weight, let's suppose that I am at 200 kilos right now, and if we run this code again, as you can see, I am not allowed to enter. So this is the AND logical operator. So now let's suppose that we have even other condition for our system here. And let's suppose that there is another ticket for our amusement park that the person can buy at the entry. And this other ticket is a free pass. And if a person buy that ticket, they will be able to enter any attraction that they want for free. So let's create another variable for that. And this variable will be has free pass, and let's set this to true. And now inside our code here, we need to check if the person has this free pass or not. And if they have it, they will be able to enter for free. All right, so we need to change this condition here. And the logical operator that we will use here is the OR, and then we will place the has free pass. All right, in here I'm not using an expression because the has free pass is already a boolean value, which is true or false. So if this is true or this is true, this condition will run. In here both needs to be true, and in here below only one needs to be true. All right, and if we run this code right now, whoops, I am a little bit overweight here, so let's decrease this. And if I run again, as you can see, now I am allowed to run for free, and this is the condition operator OR. And the last thing that we need to add to our system here is actually a way for us to know if our park is closed or not. And if the park is closed, the person obviously will not be able to enter. So let's create another variable for that, and this variable will be called is park closed, and let's set it to false for now. And here in this first condition, we need to check if this park is closed or not. So let's add another condition here. So and the park should be open, right? But if you pay attention to the way that this variable was created, is park closed, this variable will be true when the park is closed. So in here, I need to add a negation to this variable. So let's use the not operator, and not is park closed. And now what will happen here is that when this variable is true, this expression here will be evaluated to false. And when this variable here is false, this expression here will be evaluated to true. So if the is park closed is false, it means that this will be true, and then if both those conditions are also true, the person will be allowed to enter. All right, so that's how we use the not operator. It is used to negate a boolean value, and it will change the value of the expression to the opposite. All right, so if we run this again, As you can see, I am still allowed to enter for free, but if the park is closed, then I will not be allowed to enter anymore. All right. All right, everyone. So those are the logical operators, and this is what I wanted to touch with you in this video. And if you liked, don't forget to leave your like below, and don't forget also to subscribe to my channel so that you'll be notified when I post new videos, right? So see you in the next one.